So I painted the background on this canvas an orange and gold tone, and you can see the reference photo there up in the corner. So it's a lady walking her dog along the beach, and I'm using a catalyst scraper here with a mixture of titanium white with a little touch of blue in it, and I'm scraping on the sky. So this initial layers are basically like my block in. I find using a scraper allows me to cover broader areas quicker, and it eliminates a lot of the brush strokes. It gives me just a flat surface. So I have got the paint mixed up, going a little bit lighter here as I come down. Coming in around the figure. Now, easy enough to get a straight line by using the catalyst wedge on its side, and I'm just tidying up a little bit with a brush in around the figure. So as I'm using the image as a guideline, I'm not necessarily going to follow the colors in that particular reference on my painting. I definitely want to bring a little more color into it. Just kind of smoothing things out here with the brush and the scraper, a little bit of finessing. Just using a card here to bring some paint on. Again, you can get a fairly straight line by using the edge of the card. Just coming in around my sand and water forms. I'm using a flat brush, about 1 inch, to get in a little bit tighter around my shapes here. And now I'm going to add some with a palette knife, blocking in this wave. Here I've switched up to a Liquitex 1 inch, what do they call those brushes? It just has a short stubby handle on it. I like it for the control that you can get from it. So sometimes we want control and we want to be holding our brush tight near the ferrule, and other times we want to be loose and hold our brush back further. So it really depends what you want to achieve with your brush. So coming back in, just adding some more paint into this area. So painting in around the negative shapes instead of painting the positive out. I find this is the easiest way to get my forms. So you can tell now that it's already starting to take shape. So now I'm coming in, doing some of the sandy bits. So again, just working quickly at this stage, trying to block it in and get the essence of the underpainting and the values. Changing up to a brush with a longer handle here and starting to get in a little bit of value variation here on the sand. Putting in some dark for the shadows. Adding a little bit of dark spots in the water as well. It's really important to establish your values early on. Coming in and putting some dark in the hair area and on the pants. I don't normally work from photographs, but this kind of captured my attention, so I thought that I would give it a whirl and just paint something that's a little more maybe realistic than I normally do. So I've got a smaller brush here for these smaller bits. I am trying to leave some of the background color to show through to hinge things together. I like that little bit of reddy orange outline peeking through. So now just coming back in the sky here. I've got a big 2-inch brush, just adding another layer and trying to get a little bit more feeling of movement in the sky. If you're having trouble blending the sky, you can add some glazing medium to it, or even a little bit of water. keep it wet longer. Also, if you use a large brush, you can cover a lot more ground quickly, and that helps with the speed of the drying as well. Somehow picking up some little bits of stuff on my brush that I don't want. Coming into the wave now. Bringing that light part in between her arms, showing the sky coming through, and back on the light part of the water. Again, I'm using a really large brush here just to get this layer on top quickly. It's about a 2-inch brush. This canvas is a 24 by 24 inch size. Painting this smaller shapes with a 1-inch flat. Putting a little bit of color variation in the water. Pushing it back, giving a little bit more interest. I'm holding my brush really on the edge and kind of almost scraping the paint off. Now just coming back in around that dog. Coming in with a palette knife. So changing up your tools can be helpful to get different types of marks and textures on your work, which makes it more interesting. Building up layers is also a great way to add a lot of depth to your work so that it's not looking flat. If you just do it like a paint by number and paint a solid color, it's going to have a very different effect. It's going to look much more stylized and flat. I'm trying to achieve a more painterly look and a bit of looseness here, which I always find more challenging with a photograph than when I just do it from imagination. Now coming back into the sand again and adding some more color on top. So the initial sketch is there as a guideline, but don't feel that you have to totally stay within those lines. You can definitely take artistic license and change anything. If you like it more blended, you can definitely blend things out. Other things that you might consider for texture in the sand is you can get a medium called sand texture that looks very granular and sandy, and that's a nice way of adding some texture to the foreground of your painting. So again, I'm just using my brush very loosely here and trying to blend and smear the sand area so it doesn't look so contrived. Dabbing my brush to add a little bit of a textural effect to the foreground there. So just finessing now really, and coming back into some of the smaller bits. So my painting is getting near finished, and at this point I usually like to set it aside and look at it and see if there's other changes I want to make. But I'm going to come in and put in some light value for the hands. I'm just using a very small pointed brush to do this. So just coming in, cleaning up a little bit around the pants and the top here. So I think I'm going to leave this painting and just ponder any other things I want to do with it. I hope you've enjoyed watching, and if you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section below. Share this with a friend and like my video. Thanks so much.